No, how can I make myself look tall? Can I
can't.
have that chair,
Yeah,
please?
you can't. Episode 4 of the university series. And what are you here to talk about, Jake?
I am here to talk about sports universities.
Cool. What universities have? What universities have you applied to out of interest?
I have applied to Loughborough, Bath, Exeter, Reading, and Northumbria.
And what's the top choice?
Loughborough.
So,
Loughborough, definitely.
Any reason why? Or just
it was the first one I went to when I was
Okay.
looking at unis, and for me, it just had everything that I needed. It had all of the sports facilities. It had a really good course. Just had a good vibe about it, to be honest.
Good vibe. So what is the what's your sport?
So my sport is athletics, in particular running.
Okay, is that long distance, short distance?
Yeah, so I'm still fairly new to it in comparison to most people. So I've been doing a lot of cross country at the moment, and then I'm thinking track wise, it's going to be sort of 1500 on the track.
So long. Is that long?
1500
track wise.
It's middle distance.
Middle,
is what it's called.
Okay, I don't really do running, so I don't know. So the course you're doing there, am I correct in thinking it's not a sports course?
No, so I want to do business management and marketing, because there's not, I could have done sports psychology or something like that, but I wanted to have something where, if I never made it as a pro runner or anything like that, I've got something to fall back on, and I think it's important not just to have one passion. So to do marketing, which is what I want to do, it's a nice thing to have where, I can go into the field of marketing, hopefully in the sports industry, do some sports marketing, but whether that means that I have to do something else first.
Is it kind of you do something sport, run, and then fall back on that at the end of a sports career?
That's a dream, to be honest. I'd love to have a career purely running, but that's very hard to come by because it's only the best in the world that get that. Your Jakob Ingebrigtsens and your Josh Kerrs, who I'm sure you know all about.
Oh yeah, Josh Kerr. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they obviously have. That's all they do is run. But for a lot of people and a lot of pro athletes, you get the contracts, but it's really not enough to live on. So they have to have jobs on the side.
Yeah.
So it's not really an option to just run. So it's, you need that other thing, which is where marketing comes in for me, to be able to have that to do alongside.
So because obviously, so you're doing business management. Obviously, Loughborough is not like the best business school as such. How does the kind of standard of teaching compare with it primarily being like a sports uni as such?
I mean, it's still, it's ranked in the top 10 for unis, so you're not going to get a bad education. I think for business, it's in about the top 10 as well.
Yeah.
And for me, when I was looking at it, I thought it was important I looked at the rankings of the sports unis, see which one's the best, and then also the rankings of the course I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then just weighed up what were the highest in them, Loughborough coming out on top. And, to have that, top level of education is the main thing. That's why you go to uni. You don't go to uni just for sport unless you are, that elite level, which I'm not. So, you need to make sure the education's the priority.
But have you picked Loughborough because of the sport benefit?
It is a big factor as to why I chose it, but also I like the uni.
Yeah.
I like the campus. I wanted a campus. I didn't want a city university.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that everything's close together. I know quite a lot of people who have gone to Loughborough and heard good things about it. Yes, the sport is the best at Loughborough. They've won bucks for the past 40 years.
Yeah.
So you're not going to go anywhere better with sport. But I think for me, it was a mixture of multiple things to make sure I wanted to go there.
And then how important is the uni rather than because you could go to a uni anywhere, I assume, join the local running club and then run. What are the benefits of doing it as a university team rather than just a sports team?
I mean, I think running is quite an individual sport. A lot of the time it's going out when it's dark, wet, cold on a winter evening. You just have to go slog it out by yourself. So I think any chance you can get to train with other people, you've got to take, which is why when I'm part of the club, I love training with the club because you've got other people there. They're going through the exact same things as you, let's cut that, as you. They know what it's like to suffer. So I think when you're going to uni, to be able to have that environment really aids it. And especially as I think uni is quite, it can be lonely at times, especially when you first join. You can be a really sociable person, if you don't know anyone,
You're
you
just
don't
put into that environment. Yeah.
exactly. So if you have that athletics team that you can go to, there's so many more people you can meet with all the a similar hobby as you,
Yeah.
and then you're going to train better, fit better in at the environment. If that's Loughborough, if that's another uni, and then you're going to get a better education, better time at uni in general.
Yeah, yeah. So with what the episode is about, applying, do you have to prove yourself to Loughborough? Are they because I know so we had someone talking about med school and they had to do a whole thing at the uni on the day. Do you have to run? I don't know how to phrase the question. You know what I mean, though?
I think it depends what level you're at.
Mm.
So I had to send off a separate. So you obviously have your personal statements that you send off. So I also sent off a sports statement. So my coach wrote, just a few of my achievements, what I'm like as an athlete, sent that off to the unis in hope that the uni coaches will read it, and if they really like you, they can put in a good word for you and get you your application. I think if you're a top level athlete, a lot of the time they will know about you.
Does that come with reduced offers and
so reduced offers, scholarships, things like that? If you go to a uni that's maybe ranked further down in the rankings, you're more likely to get a scholarship, but then potentially the athletics isn't as good. And I think a lot of the time, so especially one thing for me with Loughborough was I got there and I was a bit well, is it just going to be the elites, the best of the best? And I'm a few notches down from that. Is it really worth me going if I'm just going to be training at the back? Which I wouldn't be, because there's such a vast range of groups there that I'd be nowhere near the back. But they, you get to use the exact same facilities as the elites. You have the same training program as the elites. So you're training like an elite athlete, while still being at uni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are those facilities important?
Yes.
For running.
Yeah, I think obviously you can. I'm guessing a lot of people think, well, you can just run anywhere. You can just go down the street and run. But I think especially if you're a track athlete, you need that track there.
You need the track. Yeah.
You need to be able to get on as much as possible. You need that. It's so important to have the strength and conditioning and the gym work as well. Because if you don't have that, you're just going to get injured and then you're not going to be able to run at all. So to have all of that there, and it's not just the facilities, it's the people around that as well. It's having the good setup there. So you need your physios, you need your coaches, you need those people who you can ask questions to, because for me, I'm so new to the sport. I know still so little about it, and the right training methods, the right things to do. So to have coaches who have been in it for 30, 40, 50 years, they're going to be the ones who are best going to advise me, which is what Loughborough have.
So is there a way when applying, I'm not sure if you actually know, but how do you make yourself stand out when applying? Because there's probably thousands of runners every year that apply, thousands of sports people. I
mean, it's times is the basis of it. If you are the quickest guy, that you're going to go there. But a lot of the time actually is Loughborough is, I think it's the best uni for running, up there with sort of Birmingham, Queen's Mary and stuff in the UK. Apart from that, it's you go to America. But that is only the best of the best. So apart from that, you fall back and you look at your UK unis, which is then where you've got your best of the best, who you've maybe got a group of 5 to 10, and then you've just got a good 50 to 100 people who are the next level down, who are still some of the best in the country. But when they're all applying to the same unis for the best running facilities, you need ways to stand out, like you said. So I think the best way for that is you need to work out what are the people who are better than me doing, not just for running but also academic wise, looking at other personal statements. What have they got that I don't have? What can I add to mine? Whether that is simply, okay, say from a running point of view, you've got runners who are training as much as you, but they're also doing gym work. You're not doing that and you're getting injured loads. If you add that gym work in, that's going to aid you not getting injured, step up your level. You can then compete with those other people. So I think it's just working out what you're missing, what you can work on, add to yourself.
Do they care about a want for you to improve? Because say if you're applying, you might not be the best runner now, but if you're keen to improve, which you are, do they care about that at all? Or is it
they're able to see your potential, which I think is also why a coach will write a reference for you, because they can say, look, he's here, he's got the ability to get here. So they may see someone who he's come second in all of the national events, and he hasn't quite got that first place, but they can see the potential. They can see he's one of the best. So they'll take that chance and get him. And I think the whole idea of training is to get better. Otherwise you wouldn't train. So they are all about the potential that you've got. How good can you get?
Yeah. Is there any, like, I don't know how to phrase this either, it's a weird one, but is there a little bit of like who you know as well? Like if you know people that are already there, if you might have seen the Loughborough coach at a race, got chatting to them.
I mean, I know people who are there in their final year, so when I go, there won't really be anyone there that I know. From what I know at our school, there aren't that many people who are going. You can't just pick a uni because you know people there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy yourself. It may not be the right place for you. You need to make sure it's the place you want to go.
Yeah.
So I think yes, that partly influenced me. I was like, well, I can gain their opinion, whether that's about accommodation or whatever, and that will help me make my decision. But you can't just judge it off the people who are there.
Yeah, well, that's probably just about it. Unless you've got anything to add, any advice for those applying?
Advice. I would say just do as much as you can. Work out what you enjoy. When you've worked out what you enjoy, stick at it.
There you go. That should be a quote. Straight and a short. There you go. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.